Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to target your glutes only using dumbbells. We're going to mix higher reps with different intensity techniques to get the most out of our glutes. This is a really good one. My glutes were dying by the end of it, so let me show you how it's done. So first up is Bstance dumbbell hip thrust for 4 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Yes, 15 to 20. So you'll get into your standard hip thrust position and then take the heel of whatever side you're not targeting first and align that with the toes of your working side and slightly rotate that foot out. That's going to be your support system. So you want to keep as much of your focus on that working glute, but you will naturally take some of the load on that non-working side, like around 30-ish%, but just do what you can to maintain most of your focus on your working glute. Now, these are great because you are able to focus more on one side at a time while still having that stability there, which will let you use more challenging loads at higher rep schemes. If heavy dumbbells aren't accessible to you, just swap for a true single leg dumbbell hip thrust and aim for 10 to 12 reps each side with whatever weights you have access to. A true single leg hip thrust is going to be way more challenging than this variation, hence the higher rep scheme to reach failure here. So just adjust wherever you need to make it work. Next up, we're doing 1 1/4 reverse lunges, and you'll see here that I elevated my front foot on a plate to get a little more range at the bottom because I wanted to make sure I was getting a deep stretch in my glutes. And if your mobility allows for it, I want you to elevate your front foot as well. It doesn't need to be a ton, just a few inches, and that is plenty. Now, since we are maintaining more of a constant tension pace, you want to brace yourself so that you don't have to worry about stability, and then just keep those reps flowing. Then for form, while keeping that front shin vertical and a slight hinge forward, you're going to take a wide step back, then come up 1/4 of the way, then go back down, and then finally come all the way up, and that's 1 full rep. And so that extra 1/4 rep is keeping our glutes under tension for a longer period of time where they are being worked the hardest. The key with these is that you want all of that drive, all of that power coming from your working glute. So as you're driving out of the hole, you really want to create that tension by actively contracting your glute and using that to drive you up. So try not to let that back foot push you out of the hole and do all the work. Instead, you want to let all that drive come from that working glute. And now to bring ourselves even closer to failure with that same movement pattern, after your 3 sets are finished, you're then going to do 2 sets of 20 reps of the same movement. You're just going to ex-nay the dumbbell and the front foot elevation. These are quick reps, so focus on where you want to keep that tension and pump them out back to back to back. Once you get that form and contact down, these are brutal on the glutes in the best way. You just want to really make sure that you're maintaining that form and maintaining that control by having all of that drive and power come from that working glute. You don't want to use your arm to pull you up. You don't want to use that back foot to kick you up. You really just want to focus all of your attention on that working glute. And trust me, you will know when you are doing it correctly because that working glute, especially right when the set finishes, will be on fire. Next up is dumbbell RDLs with a slow eccentric. So basically what this means is that as you lower that weight down, I want you to take a solid 3 seconds to get down and then come back up at your normal pace. So focus on driving your hips back behind you. And then as you come up, once you feel that tension come off the glutes, you can go right back down. Remember, the tension is on the glutes at the bottom of the rep in an RDL, not the top. So you really want to keep that focus on the mid to end range at the bottom of the rep rather than focusing on rushing up and squeezing or thrusting forward at the top, because that's not where your glutes are being worked the hardest here. They're being worked the hardest in their lengthened position. So you're doing 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, and don't forget about that 3-second eccentric. Anywhere from 2 to 4, I'd be happy. I just aimed for 3 each rep, but we all know that as you get fatigued, all of a sudden your counting starts to get faster and faster. So just try your best to control it and aim for 3 solid seconds. You're next going to be moving on to dumbbell straddle lifts. So since we aren't elevating ourselves, make sure to hold your dumbbell horizontal so you don't lose any of that range of motion. Now, when you do these, you want to think of driving your glutes as far back behind you, just like you just did with those RDLs before this. And so while you're doing that, you're squatting down. This movement is a mix of a hinge and a squat. So you're more hinged forward. You're actively trying to push your glutes as far back behind you as you can. And while you're doing all of this, you are squatting down with the weight. I know it sounds confusing, but if you just watch me do the movement here, you can see me actively pushing my glutes back as I'm moving down, and I'm maintaining that hinge forward the entire way through. Now, something else that I'm making sure to be aware of is my knee drive. So I'm trying my best to maintain as vertical of a shin as possible to reduce the amount of quad activation I'm getting. Yes, your quads are still being worked here regardless, but you can definitely minimize the amount of it by focusing on pushing your glutes back rather than allowing your knees to drive excessively forward as you move toward the bottom with the weight. So you're going to be doing 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Increase the weight each set if you can. If you only have access to lighter dumbbells, you can just go ahead and increase the reps to bring you closer to that failure point. And to finish off the workout, I ended with a movement I haven't incorporated into my own training in a while, and wow, I forgot how badly these can burn. These are donkey kicks with a dumbbell. These are way tougher than they look, especially when you get toward that end of the set. That burn that kicks in, oof. So you're going to take that dumbbell, place it behind your knee, and then keep your leg pinched to hold it into place. You don't need a lot of weight with this. You're going to perform them on your forearms to make it easier to avoid hyperextending your lower back. And you also want to make sure that you are keeping your core braced the entire way through so that you can stabilize properly. Once you do 3 sets of 15 reps on each side, you are done. So try this workout out. Let me know how it goes down in the comments or over on my Instagram. If you are wanting more structured training for the gym or at home, you can check out my workout programs linked down below. My entire gym fit is from Gymshark. They are killing it lately with the color selection. It is literally chef's kiss. You can save money at checkout with my code HunterrCP. All that stuff linked down below as well. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for more free workouts just like this. But other than that, I think that's going to do it for today. So I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys.